What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so while everybody's focused on Kyrie Irving and how he should be punished for sharing a link on his Twitter to a movie that came out 4 years ago, my thing is this. Has anybody ever thought about the fact that, from Kyrie Irving's perspective, he may have felt totally blindsided by this? Like, wait a minute. This is a movie that came out 4 years ago, meaning that this movie's been existing for 4 years. So where has all of the prior complaints about this movie been? We haven't heard anything about it. This movie has been shown, as has been the case, proven at Shaquille O'Neal's multiplexes in New Jersey. This movie is being sold on Amazon. So if this movie is being profited from, if this movie is been out there for so long, I wouldn't think there was something wrong with it either. If someone is telling me this movie saying, hey, this movie showcases how we aren't just descended from slaves and, we're not being told our true history. If you come at it from that angle, then, maybe people would be interested in looking at it. Look, some people found Malcolm X to be racist, right? The movie. Do we find it racist? No. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's certain times when people aren't going to see eye to eye. And to me, this is more of a power situation. This is a situation where a certain group who see things differently from others are not trying to have a real conversation about this. They're trying to exert their power and dominance and influence to make the other weaker entity or entities submit to their will or submit. That's what this is all about to me, But that's a different video for another day. And of course, all of this Kanye, Ye, Kyrie stuff has been pushed out there to push this guy out of the limelight. Because at one point in time, this was the rage on social media, right? So there's been some new developments. I'll put a link to this article in the pinned comment in the comment section below. So another bombshell report regarding Brett Favre's involvement in an ongoing welfare fraud investigation was published earlier this week, stating that two concussion drug companies that Favre backed had, quote, overstated their NFL connections and exaggerated the known effectiveness of their drugs during efforts to raise money, according to documents obtained by ESPN. So, the first thing I have to wonder is, why hasn't ESPN talked about that? They've obtained these documents. I don't see them talk about this on First Take or Get Up or any of their programs, any of their NFL programs. I haven't seen them talk about this. But anyway, companies Previcus and Pressol MD and their founder, Jake Van Lattingham, received more than $2.1 million in state welfare funds from the Mississippi government, a civil lawsuit alleges. They're just doling out fucking money. Doling out money that's supposed to go to the poor. No wonder Mississippians can't have clean drinking water. They just stealing money that's supposed to be allocated toward the poor. Just taking it. Let's see. Van Lattingham also was discovered to have substantial debts over the past few years. Van Lattingham told ESPN, quote, I had no idea this was welfare money, and I've always been an upstanding person when it comes to research. Well, you didn't make the cut this time. Favre has yet to comment on this new development in the welfare fraud case. Of course he has yet to comment. Although he previously stated he invested $1 million of his own money into the companies. Favre is one of dozens of individuals being sued by the state of Mississippi for misappropriating welfare frauds, or welfare funds, excuse me. Text messages obtained by Anna Wolf of Mississippi Today show Favre, former Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant, nonprofit founder Nancy New, and former welfare agency director John Davis worked together to funnel at least $5 million of the state's welfare funds toward construction of a volleyball stadium at the University of Southern Mississippi, Favre's alma mater. Favre's daughter also played volleyball at the school. Huh. You know what's interesting? Kyrie Irving has lost more money sharing a link than Favre has repaid the millions taken. Favre has repaid $1.1 million in state welfare funds. Right? Kyrie has lost what? $2 million in salary? Plus he's gonna have to pay another $500,000 toward some anti-hate group, whatever. I don't know, man. This is some interesting times and an interesting world we live in, where someone sharing a link to a movie is more egregious than a man who's worth $100 million stealing millions of dollars that was meant to go to the poorest people in Mississippi. And I'm not just talking about black people. I'm talking about poor people, and in particular poor kids. No matter how you want to rationalize and say, oh, well, those poor people deserve to be poor. Kids don't deserve to go to bed hungry at night. Brett Favre don't go to bed hungry at night. Phil Bryant definitely didn't go to bed hungry at night. But money that's supposed to go to help feed kids, these motherfuckers stole that shit. 70-something million. And there's no outrage. It's like, well, it's a shame. Well, what it really shows is that people don't give a fuck about poor people. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of people sort of have a disdain toward poor people. And by poor people, people generally think of black people. So they don't really care. Let's just put our cards on the table. Let's just be honest. The evidence grossly, and I do mean grossly, the evidence grossly confirms this. When we find out that, Charles Manson and his group of nutball, hillbilly ass fucking hippies murdered Sharon Tate and others, we were horrified. I wasn't alive yet, but still, collectively we were horrified. When people found out what John Wayne Gacy was doing, killing 30-something young boys and burying their carcasses under his house, people were disgusted and horrified. However, when people found out what Jeffrey Dahmer did, some people were horrified, but some people found it amusing or interesting, or they were fascinated by Dahmer. They could care less about the victims, It was more about, wow, Jeffrey Dahmer is just such an interesting human being. Yeah, it's a shame what he did, but he's so interesting, and wow, let's do more study on him. I don't think he was evil. I just think that he had this certain personality traits that just ran afoul and shit like that. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about it. Matter of fact, look, they did this. Some people try to do the same thing with Brett Favre. Well, could it be that he has CTE? No, maybe he's just an asshole. Okay, maybe he is just an asshole. Period. Remember this guy sending dick pics to women who didn't want them, kept sending them dick pics, sexually harassing women. Do we forget this shit? But he never got Me Too'd.